A wise man once said, to discover your gifts and talents, you have to identify what you fear the most, because the same thing that will make you is what the enemy uses to break you. And I agree to that statement 100% because I'm a living example. Back in the days, I could not speak up for myself. I remember once I had to give a presentation and I was a mess. I was shaking, shivering, mumbling the words. And don't get me wrong, I'm familiar with the stage. I grew up doing stage performances, from representing different countries in dance performance to playing lead in stage plays. And that trickled down into my personal life. I will not stand up for myself. And when I did use my voice, I used it wrongly. After the umpteenth time of somebody doing the same thing continuously, I'll then react in anger, and then my reaction will be used against me. So speaking became a negative omen for me until I confronted that fear headstrong. I made it my life's mission to only use my voice to empower people. So at the end of each day, I sit back and I take stock of the conversations I've had during the day. And I ask myself 3 questions. 1, did I speak carelessly? Did I speak life into that person? And lastly, was I able to provide some sort of solution? Sometimes I didn't do any of the 3. I just goofed around really. But I'm a work in progress. I will eventually get it right. So let me ask you a question. What are you afraid of? Because whatever it is limiting you from reaching your highest potential and achieving your goals. Now, to conquer that fear, you need to face it headstrong. And to face it, you need to understand the nature of it. Let me explain. Let's look at the story of David and Goliath in the Bible. Now, Goliath was a warrior, the champion of the Palestinian army that battled the Israelites. He was said to be 6 cubits and a span, which is about 9.5 feet tall, with an extremely large armor, bronze greaves on his legs, a bronze javelin sling between his shoulders, and the head of his spear weighs 600 shekels of iron. All the Israelites, including the king, Saul, were afraid of him. Now, David, on the other hand, was just a young boy. Maybe in his late teens or early 20s, he was a shepherd, not a warrior. And then when he was sent by his father to take food to his brothers at the battleground, he overheard Goliath taunting and challenging the Israelites, and none of them could confront him. Then David inquired from them, who is this guy? And the armies went on, oh my goodness, that's Goliath. See how huge he is. See how strong he is. He's never lost a battle. Truthfully, if you look at Goliath, he was scary to behold. But what David really wanted to know was the nature of him. So he referred to him as an uncircumcised Philistine, which means he's not one of the covenant people, which means he's not in the right relationship with God. So whilst the Israelites were thinking about Goliath and his accolades, David was thinking about Goliath's relationship with God. So he's just size and words without any real spiritual backing. And that gives David an upper hand. Which means if you're afraid of the dark, you have a fear of the unknown. If you relinquish control and believe everything will work out, you can conquer it. Which means if you're afraid of rejection, you don't believe in yourself. If you work on your self-esteem, you can conquer that fear. Which means if you have a fear of failure, you're self-sabotaging, and you should work on having faith. Did I forget to mention that I conquered my fear of speaking when I realized that my words, instead of being used against me, could serve as a positive influence to others? I can't change the world, but if I can change one life through speaking positively, I have contributed immensely towards changing the world instead of complaining about it. If you define yourself by your flaws, your weaknesses, or limitations, your life will remain small instead of leading a real change in the world around you. To conquer fear, you need to understand its nature, that all it is false emotions appearing real. Namaste.